I cannot believe I finally have these. This is crazy. What's up everybody, I'm Seth Fowler and today I am unboxing and reviewing the brand new Adidas Yeezy 450s. So this package literally just got dropped off at my door by FedEx and I wanted to film me actually unboxing the sneakers first to give you guys my honest first impressions because let's be real, the shoe is insane looking and seeing it for the first time in person is going to be an experience, so I wanted to capture it for you guys. And the craziest part is that not only did I buy just one pair, I bought two because I'm actually giving a pair away to you guys. So if you're interested in winning a pair for yourself at all, make sure to stay tuned till later on in the video because I'll make sure to give you guys all the details. So I bought this pair from Stadium Goods, who were nice enough to actually overnight it to me for the review, so huge thank you to them for that. Really appreciate it. And the second pair will be coming in probably later today. I'm just so excited to see this. But guys, if you haven't yet, make sure to hit that subscribe button down below and that notification bell if you guys want to see more videos just like this. And also make sure to give me a follow on Instagram and on Twitter at RealSethFowler because if you had already been following me, you would have known that this video was coming today. So here is the Stadium Goods receipt. Then we've got the sneakers themselves. Yo, why is this box so small? Is this my size? Hold up. Size 9 men's. It is. Alright, okay. So the last time I think we saw a box this small that wasn't a pair of slides were the foam runners, which I guess technically are a pair of slides. So I'm actually wondering how they fit these in here, but let's find out. I'm starting to see them. Oh man. These do look small. These look really small. So this is it. This is the Adidas Yeezy 450. And I mean, it really does look small. This is a size 9, which is my true size, but it feels significantly smaller than that. Let's see. Here's one without the tags on it. On the left shoe, you've got the Stadium Goods tag, and then you've also got the Adidas tags right there for you. Very interesting looking pair of sneakers. Let me actually throw one on foot really quickly to see if this does actually fit, which I'm a little concerned about, so let's try it. Yeah, it fits. That's crazy. It looks so much smaller. Like, where's a regular pair of shoes? Here we go. Here's a pair of Adidas Stan Smiths. Look at that. So they're both the exact same size, and I guess the outsole and midsole tooling looks pretty much the same, but the upper just seems so much smaller. Oh man, a lot of you guys are gonna hate on me for saying this, but I'm not gonna lie. I'm in love with this shoe. This shoe is really, really crazy looking, and I just love crazy looking Yeezys. I don't know what it is, but I love the foam runners, and these just, I mean, these are pretty crazy. Actually, come to think of it, the last time I was this blown away when seeing a new pair of sneakers was probably the Yeezy foam runners. Like when I first took those out of the box, I knew what they looked like, but seeing them in person was just like a whole new thing, and that's sort of how I'm feeling with these. So I guess at this point, I'm just gonna throw these on, wear them around for a couple hours, and then come back and give you guys a full review. Perfect. Okay, so I've been rocking the Adidas Yeezy 450 around the house for the last couple hours, and I've got to say, I'm impressed. This shoe is by far one of the wildest sneakers I think I've ever had in my collection. And I mean, it's obvious why. The shoe looks like a claw grabbing your foot. But after wearing the shoe for a while, I do have some thoughts and I wanted to go over them in the full review. So, the Adidas Yeezy 450 in the cloud white colorway officially releases through Yeezy Supply on March 6th for a retail price of $200. And unfortunately, as is the case with most other new Yeezy silhouettes, this pair will be very difficult to get and very limited. And because this is a brand new Yeezy silhouette, even though it's a pretty polarizing design, I think the hype is just gonna be like out of this world. But really quick, before we actually dive into the review, let's take a closer look at the box. So I know we already looked at this box in the unboxing, but I've got to be honest, it's such a different take on the standard Yeezy box. I just wanted to give you guys a closer look so you know what you're getting into when you actually buy a pair of these for yourself. So the first thing that you'll notice when you see this box is that this isn't in the standard Yeezy box size or even standard shoebox size. It really comes in like kind of an extruded square shape, very similar to a Vans box or a Converse box. Of course, being a mainline Yeezy sneaker, it still features that sort of drawer, slide out opening method. And not only that, just like every other Yeezy box, you've got the number of the shoe printed on the top in sort of a light brown color. The size tag of the shoe is placed on the opposite side from the drawer opening, and of course, like I mentioned before, this is a size 9, my true size, and the official colorway of the shoe is Cloud What, which I'm assuming translates to cloud white, cloud white, cloud white. Honestly, I kind of wish all the other Yeezy boxes were this size so that storage, at least for me, would get a lot easier. But that's pretty much all there is to it. If you get a package in the mail from Yeezy Supply and it's this size, don't worry, it's not fake. That's just the size that the Yeezy 450 box is. But getting back into the sneakers themselves, the Yeezy 450s, although they look very different from really any previous Yeezy, they do feature a lot of the same materials. So starting things off in the toe of the sneaker, you've got this very thick cloud white colored knit material. Now I have no idea if this is prime knit or prime blue or whatever Adidas ends up calling it, but I've got to say that the actual texture of the knit is a little bit rougher than previous knits that they've used in the past. It feels just as stretchy as other thick prime knits that they've used on some of their other sneakers. It's actually softer than the knit that they use on the 350 V2s. In my opinion, the knit feels very similar to a pair of Pharrell NMDs, both in the way that it kind of hugs your foot and also the amount of stretch that it has. Obviously the color of the knit and really the entire upper of the shoe is cloud white, which I'm gonna be honest is not the most exciting color in the world, but it definitely falls in line with Kanye's sort of earth tone theme that he has going on. So this knit material pretty much extends around the entire upper of the shoe and makes up a majority of the upper. However, there are different parts of the upper that we'll get to a little bit later on that do change up the feel and the texture of the knit because of what they need to accomplish. Moving up from the toe, you've got this like knit loop that kind of pops up from the upper. It's actually pretty much part of the upper itself. It almost looks like they cut slits in the upper, and that acts as a lace eyelet. In fact, every lace eyelet on this shoe is made up of the same knit material, but unlike the lace loop on the toe of the sneaker, they all kind of pop out from the upper, and even when you take the laces out, they still kind of sit on their own. Weaving through these lace loops, you've got these thick rope laces, which kind of seem par for the course when it comes to Yeezys at this point, and they do seem to come in a slightly different shade of tan than the rest of the upper. In fact, I'd almost say that they have this sort of like light green tannish color to them. They're definitely a different shade of tan than really any other part of the shoe. Underneath the laces, the knit does change up a little bit and becomes a lot more linear and a lot more stretchy. That's obviously so the top of your foot can actually sit inside the shoe and get into the sneaker, because if it wasn't for this knit change, this would be a much tighter shoe than it already is, which we'll get to in a minute. Then moving up to the ankle of the shoe, you've got this very sock-like ankle collar, which really reminds me a lot of those Ultra Boost mids. It's a nice stretchy ankle collar, it sits around your ankle very nicely, and it also allows you to open it up wide enough to actually get your foot into the shoe. Moving inside the shoe, you'll find that there really isn't any padding around the upper of the sneaker whatsoever. Your foot is just up against this knit material. There isn't even really any padding around the heel either, which is kind of odd. I mean, wearing the shoe, I didn't even really think about it, and I didn't feel like I missed it, but it is kind of odd that they don't even have a little bit of something back there. The insole of the shoe comes in light tan, and of course it's also an Ortholite insole. You've got the Ortholite branding, the Yeezy branding, and the Adidas branding printed on the heel in sort of a darker brown color. Now what's kind of interesting about this insole is that it actually has the size tag attached to it, which you don't see often on a pair of Yeezys. And then what's even more interesting than just that is that the size tag actually says flip under, so it wants you to flip the size tag underneath the insole when you actually wear the shoe. That's something that I've never seen on a pair of sneakers before. It's an interesting detail to say the least. But now getting to a part of the video that I'm sure a lot of you guys were waiting for, and that's the actual sizing and fit of the shoe. So even though it seems like Adidas and Kanye have really fixed up the sizing of their Yeezy 350 V2s and made them a much more true to size shoe, the 450 unfortunately kind of regresses on that. Unfortunately, the 450 is a very, very tight shoe, and I would definitely recommend going up at least half a size. I have narrow feet, and I bought this shoe true to size, and I wish I had gone up half a size because it's not uncomfortable, but it's very, very tight. And you know, come to think of it, if you have wider feet, it might not even hurt to go up a full size because this shoe doesn't feel incredibly wide either. This shoe is like the epitome of a sock-like fit. Like, it really feels like you're wearing a second pair of socks, and these foam fingers really do a great job of like holding your foot in place. Now in most of my videos I suggest trying on a pair before you buy it, but in this situation you just can't try on a pair unless you buy it for resale. So what I would suggest is going up at least half a size. If you're nervous, maybe go up a full size, but I really don't have any way of telling you if that size is gonna fit for you. I would just say go up a half size and you should be okay. But now getting to definitely the most polarizing part of the entire sneaker, and that's these foam finger things that wrap all the way around the upper of the shoe. Now as you can see, these foam fingers are actually part of the midsole, so essentially the midsole covers like an entire half of the sneaker. And what's interesting about this midsole, or I guess midsole finger situation, is that these fingers or midsole seems to be made up of the same or very similar foam to what's used on the foam runners. Unlike the foam runners though, I don't believe these shoes are made in the United States, and I also don't think this foam is algae based. So it does seem to have a slightly different texture than the foam runners and a slightly different feel. Like, it seems to be a little bit softer, which I thought was kind of interesting. And I've got to say that underfoot, this foam does provide a pretty soft and relatively well cushioned ride. It's very similar to how it feels to wear an Adiprene shoe. Or maybe it's closer to Adidas Bounce Foam. I'm not 100% sure, but I will say that it's nowhere near as soft as Boost. But obviously the reason this shoe is so polarizing is not because of the materials that are used in the shoe, but it's the overall aesthetic and design of the sneaker. So when this shoe was first leaked back in like 2019, I think at this point, it did have a pretty different look. The only thing that remained relatively the same was the midsole. If you remember from those pictures, the upper of the shoe looked a lot more like a Yeezy 700, it had its own separate tongue, and it seemed to be pretty well padded. But for whatever reason, over the last couple years, the Yeezy design team decided to change up the design pretty dramatically. However, they kept the most iconic detail of the shoe. And for me, my favorite part of the sneaker by far is the design. It's the crazy midsole that wraps up onto your foot and looks like a Venus flytrap that's like eating your foot. It's crazy. It almost looks like your foot is on fire, or like a shark is trying to bite into your foot, or something nuts like that, but I'm just obsessed with it. I think it's an incredible design. It might not be for everybody, but man, it gets attention. And something else that I found very interesting about this shoe after wearing it for a couple hours is how much support these foam fingers actually give your feet. While the 450 definitely isn't the most padded shoe in the world, it definitely feels like it holds you in place and your foot is not going to slide around or ever really feel unstable. I mean, this foam midfoot cage is flexible, but it's not really soft. It definitely provides a lot of structure and a lot of support. And something else that I'm just noticing is that inside the shoe, on the back side of the knit, wherever there's a foam finger, it looks like they actually like heat pressed it onto the shoe. So it's like this very smooth, plasticky feel. Like if you rub your finger along the inside of the sneaker, it goes from a very rough texture where the knit is to a very like almost plasticky smooth texture where one of the fingers is, and then back to rough again. It's really weird. But I mean, obviously it didn't bother me when I was wearing the shoe because I literally did not notice it until just now. Man, I'm really into this sneaker. I can't say that enough, but really I think what I love about this sneaker the most is how they utilize this midsole as a midfoot cage. It's just such a different take on footwear design, and it feels so futuristic. Like I feel like this is a shoe from like 2080. Around the heel of the shoe, the knit does change up ever so slightly. It turns to a slightly darker shade of tan and also gets a bit stiffer because I'm assuming it acts as a heel counter. The rest of the midsole of the shoe is very heavily sculpted and has a very organic feel to it. It almost looks like a rib cage, which I actually don't mind. And then when you look down on the shoe from the top, it has a very Yeezy shape to it. Like the midsole kind of squishes out or extends out from the side of the sneaker like a pair of 350 V2s. Then finally moving to the bottom of the sneaker, you've got this very interesting white rubber outsole. It actually seems like not only did the upper of the shoe change from 2019 to 2021, but it also seems like the outsole got a pretty heavy overhaul. The outsole went from like a bunch of separate rubber pods to one piece of rubber that kind of bends along the shape of the midsole. I've got to say, they did a great job matching the color of the outsole to the midsole. I think that sort of cream white is almost a perfect match. And this traction pattern, while I don't know how effective it's going to be, looks pretty good. It looks like waves or ripples. And then on the toe of the sneaker, you find what I believe is only the second Adidas logo on the entire shoe, and that's the Adidas sportswear logo debossed into the rubber. The Adidas Yeezy 450 is a wild looking sneaker, and it's definitely going to be one of the most polarizing releases of 2021. You're either going to love this shoe or you're going to hate this shoe. I'm one of those people that's just obsessed with this sneaker. I think it's an incredible looking sneaker. It's so different. I mean, this shoe just looks ahead of its time. It looks so crazy and so organic. I love it. Comfort-wise, this shoe isn't the most comfortable Yeezy out there. It doesn't have the softest midsole, and it also fits very tight unless you go up half a size, but it's definitely not an uncomfortable shoe. And again, if you're trying to grab a pair of the Adidas Yeezy 450 Cloud Whites for yourself, they drop on March 6th for a retail price of $200. But keep in mind, they're very limited, and they're only releasing on YeezySupply.com. But hey, maybe you don't want to pay $200 for this shoe, or more likely resale for this shoe because most people won't be able to grab it. So now I'm going to tell you how you can win a pair of brand new Adidas Yeezy 450s in the Cloud White colorway for yourself. Entering this giveaway is really easy. All you need to do is subscribe to this channel by clicking that subscribe button down below, subscribe to my second channel by clicking the link in the description below, and following me on Instagram at RealSethFowler. As soon as this video went live, I posted a picture about the giveaway on my Instagram, and all you need to do to finish your entry is comment done underneath that picture. And of course, I've left all the instructions and all the links that you need in the description below. The Yeezy 450 giveaway will run for 2 weeks from today, and I'll pick a winner the day after the giveaway ends. So make sure to subscribe to both my channels, follow me on Instagram, and comment done underneath the giveaway picture, and you're all good to go. But now I would love to know your thoughts on the Adidas Yeezy 450 and whether you're planning to grab a pair for yourself when they drop, whether it's for retail or for resale, or whether you just hate this shoe and you don't want it. So make sure to let me know in the comment section down below. And as always, thank you so much for watching. Make sure to subscribe if you haven't yet, and I'll see you all in the next one.